The Asian Connection, from construction to energy, how Korean companies are cementing their influence in the Middle East. We speak to the UAE's Minister of Energy about this burgeoning relationship. Also on the program, he turned Vimto into a household name in the region, sold most of his company to Coca-Cola for $1 billion. Now he's setting his sights on Africa. We meet Adel Aujan, the man behind the beverage boom in the Middle East. Welcome to the special edition of CNN Marketplace Middle East, this week from Daegu in South Korea. The Asian economic powerhouses have made their presence known throughout the Middle East, particularly China, Japan, and South Korea. Not by accident, they are big consumers of Middle East oil, but the relationships are building from there. Shamsa Wazir has the story of the ties that bind South Korea and the UAE.
It's a busy night at the kitchen of the Hankook Korean restaurant. The weekend has arrived in the Emirati capital Abu Dhabi, and tables are filling up with customers craving Korean culinary fare. Restaurant owner Lee Hyo-won has been in this Gulf country longer than most of her 10,000 compatriots.
5 years ago, it's not easy to find the Korean in the street. Now we can see anywhere, shopping mall and school, we can easy to find the Korean.
The Korean community here has doubled in the last 3 years as economic ties have strengthened. Annual trade between South Korea and the UAE reached $22 billion for the last 2 years running.
Both countries can get benefit from each other's experience and each other's policy. So in this sense, the relationship will be further expanded based on the mutual understanding and mutual respect.
Last year, Abu Dhabi granted oil concessions to the state-run Korean National Oil Corporation and GS Energy to explore a tenth of this emirate's landmass, giving the Asian nation a foothold in an industry traditionally dominated by Western companies.
To take on the strength of each other and try to share UAE with oil and gas, Korea with industries, with know-how. And if you notice, over the past 3 years, the two sides, in a very harmonious way, have been able to exchange these areas of strength between each other and benefit each other.
Back at the restaurant, Lee catches up with some of the Koreans who already call Abu Dhabi home.
So many Koreans come here, they eat the food, they like the home.
A feeling of home that both the Korean and UAE governments hope to bank on.
The South Korean-UAE bilateral trade relationship is particularly lucrative when it comes to the energy sector. We're talking about the construction of nuclear power plants, a transfer of technology, even taking stakes in Abu Dhabi's energy fields. I spoke to the UAE's energy minister, Suhail Al-Mazroui, and asked him how to build on these key sovereign relationships.
We are very careful when we choose our strategic partners, and when we choose them, we try to maximize this relationship in many areas and directions. South Korea is an example. So this relationship is growing year after year because they demonstrated value, and we have demonstrated value add to them as well.
Let's take another example, Russia. We had Mubadala go in first with a bilateral investment. Then the Crown Prince went into Russia as well with a $5 billion commitment. How do you see this developing over time?
Russia has many international oil and gas expertise now. They have moved, they are working in Iraq, they are working in other countries. And if there is, we are encouraging always our companies who are investing in the upstream and downstream to consider a partnership with those companies, but they need to make sense on their own merits.
From the outside world, most people wouldn't see these bilateral partnerships as a shift in policy, but they're very strategic.
I think part of it is the diversity. We want to diversify our relationships and our investments as well to those countries. We want to explore new markets. The dynamics, as you know, is moving more to our east. So East is consuming more, and the slowdown in Europe is encouraging as well those companies to join together and explore new markets.
The UAE is unique in a sense that it's pursuing a nuclear development policy along with renewables in a very large way, but with resources of better than 90 billion barrels. One would say, why at this stage? But you see it very differently.
Yes, because the challenge is commercial, and the challenge is availability of gas. We have a reserve, a big reserve of gas, but that gas is either challenging or sour, so we have to go to more economical solutions. And those solutions push us away from using the liquid hydrocarbon or diesel for electricity generation, because it's more expensive, it's polluting the environment. Therefore, the diversity is needed for us to grow and at the same time maintain our position as a major exporter of hydrocarbon to the world.
Once again, Suhail Al-Mazroui, the UAE Energy Minister, speaking to me here in South Korea. Coming up, made in the UK, but very popular throughout the region. How Gulf Arabs especially have acquired a taste for Vimto when Marketplace Middle East continues from South Korea.